Yeah, Aaron's in tonight, and thankfully we've missed him. He's a big part of all pieces of our game. Our penalty kill, I think, maybe more than any of the power play, and he plays against the other team's best. But it also structures the rest of our back end out. So we get Dimitri back with Nico, and all the pairings kind of go back to a comfort level against matchups and all those things. Minutes, maybe more than anything. You don't have to run Mikkola and Forsling and Kulikov the minutes that you do night after night, especially sitting into the number of back-to-backs we have. So we've missed him, and we're happy he's back.
What can you say of his leadership, too, and just how that impacts the team?
Well, fortunately for us, he's been around. But he's not skating in practice, and he drives in practice. He practices hard, and that changes the pace. All of our top-end players compete in practice, and that just kind of raises the level for everybody. And then a comfort level, right? It's a voice that's been in that room for a lot of years, and is a good pro, gets excited for the game. So we'll be very appreciative of having him back.
Obviously, look at the Sharks. Lost the last two, but scored 5 each time.
Yeah.
What kind of unique danger do they have?
When all the teams that are in that curve that have drafted high, and that's world-class skill, and they're young for sure, but that doesn't change how skilled they are. They're still skilled. If you give them room, they're going to score goals on you, and that's everybody's challenge. So we've got to be respectful. I think we've only scored 5-on-5 goals than they have. The skill's there, the talent's there. They play hard, and they're at a point where they can. I don't find them cheating the game. Like, I think they play a pretty respectful, responsible game, and I think that their star Celebrini has a lot to do with that. But they are making plays when they get a chance. They're not dumping and chasing. They'll make plays if you give them room. So we've just got to try to keep them out of that game.
Last time you saw him, you held him to 1 goal, had 50-plus shots on goal. How do you like how you guys approach that?
Yeah, I thought we were good there in that game. I thought our speed was good, but I thought theirs was as well. Their goalie made some saves, but they worked hard, and they were in that game, and they were dangerous when they had the puck. So it was not when you put those many shots up, a lot of times you might feel that you should be in control of the game with that many shots, but I didn't feel that we were out of danger until that thing was over.
And looking back at the Kings games, what do you like about that one particularly, just in terms of what you didn't give up? Obviously, not a lot of quality chances for them.
No, I mean, all of their most dangerous chances happened after it was 2-1. We got to open up our game, and they took advantage of that. I thought the first period was even. I really liked our second. I thought we were better in the second, and they were just better in the third. And it was probably it's a 2-1 game. I think the score was indicative, not in terms of. It wasn't a boring game. At ice level, that game was fast, it was heavy, and it was competitive. Both teams defended. We're built a lot alike. We run different neutral zone defenses, but other than that, the mindset is very, very similar in how to defend. And it was a fight up and down the ice to move the puck.
On the back end, is that Toby coming out?
Correct. Really liked his game. I don't have a technical reason to take him out, but the other two that stay in, Belinskas and Schmidt, I think over the last 2 or 3 weeks, their game is kind of getting to where we had hoped it would get to. Toby didn't deserve to come out, but we got a little more depth there with him. I'm really happy with Toby's game.
Bob and that.
Sergei goes tonight, yeah.
And looking back just last night, obviously a big trade, biggest one since the Tkachuk trade. Just as a fan of the NHL, someone that lives in the game, how exciting is it whenever something like that happens?
Well, we like everybody to go west. That's our preference, where all the stars go west if we could. But you've got a team that's kind of changed the way it looks with its firepower overnight. They're excited about it. I'm glad they're not in the Atlantic. I'm glad they're in the Metropolitan. And we actually are done with them, so we'll have to watch that unfold on TV. It's great for the game. It's great for fans. I mean, we don't want to be swapping players all over the place, but those are exciting for everybody, right? My phone blew up as soon as it came down. And everybody will be watching Carolina and Colorado play a lot the next little while just to see it.
Back on Celebrini, you mentioned him before, but what makes him so special?
Most highly skilled young players that come into the league at 18 or 19, and these guys have world-class skill, they have never really had to develop the defensive part of the game or shown an aptitude for it. For some, it takes them a long time, and he looks like he's got it nailed down right at his age right now. I thought he played like a really smart, almost veteran game. He dumped pucks when he should, but he made plays too, and showed that he has the confidence to make those plays. They've got a really good player there, and I think I don't know the man, never met him, but he plays like a leader. He doesn't cheat the game to score points. And that's the kind of guys that end up being Barkovs, right? They end up being the guys that are captain of your team. They do all the right things. So very, very mature game for a young man with some incredible skill.
Yeah, I was going to say that leadership part, and just comparing that to Barkov and just how well-rounded that game is. How much does that, I know, with the Sharks, but how much can a player like Macklin, in your experience with Barkov, drag the rest of the team in their stage of their rebuild?
It's a lot to ask for a young man to do that, but he will modify the players around him by the way he plays. So we don't have anybody in our room cheating the game because Barkov doesn't. That would be difficult to try to pull off. So as Mr. Celebrini ages, the players around him will form more to that mentality, and that's where the great leadership is, that your style of play becomes the team's identity. Nobody could play like Wayne Gretzky, clearly, but you could play as hard as Mark Messier did, or attempt to play that hard, and that kind of leadership, those elite guys change the way the people around them approach the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Appreciate it.